Coronavirus was the big story of the week, so you could be forgiven if you missed a little debate that went on down in South Carolina, where we had the Democratic candidates for president all take the stage, and one of the big subjects was socialism, and particularly Bernie Sanders, who says he's a democratic socialism and won't apologize for it. So, Jim, I'll start with you. Socialism, are we going to elect a socialist as president?
Who knows? Who knows? The thing I'll say about socialism, sounds good when you say it fast. It sounds great. Free college, free medical care, free this, free that. But at the end of the day, as Margaret Thatcher famously said, somebody's got to pay for it, and eventually you run out of other people's money. So I personally think that it can't hold a candle to capitalism, but there's a whole generation there that thinks that it's the cat's meow.
Yeah, Michelle, we talk about socialism. I'm not sure always we know what we're talking about with socialism. I'm not sure this is Marx and Lenin that we're talking about particularly.
Right,
but the one thing that's pretty clear is that Bernie Sanders wants to spend more money.
Sure.
On the other hand, President Trump has been willing to spend a fair amount of money too. And I wonder, as far as the economy goes and the markets go, maybe both of them are pretty good, because if they get into power and they do what they want to do, we're going to spend a lot more money.
Yeah, so I think it very much depends on the types of policies that will be spent on. So, you know, arguably one of the best policies in terms of being able to increase potential growth and create productivity is spending on infrastructure. That's not necessarily being talked about very much on either side. At least it doesn't appear to be super high on the list. But that's something that if money is spent on infrastructure, you can reap the benefit for years. Job training programs. Think about how to make your workforce more productive, how to make your workforce adapt to the fact that we have all this new technology and we have automation coming in. So how do you control for that? And how do you do so in a way that's really efficient? So I think there's a question of what type of fiscal spending we will see. Yes, on both sides, we've been seeing deficit expansion. It's partly a function of the fact that interest rates are so low, so it's attractive, in a sense, to expand the debt. But I think there's another really important point, which is that regardless of what the candidates are calling for, the reality is that we also have Congress.
No, there is that,
right?
Yeah. Forget about Congress, yeah.
So, you know, these policies have to be enacted. You need to get support, certainly for Bernie Sanders within the Democratic Party. And a lot of what's being called for is not the consensus within the Democratic Party.
But is actually paying for college, is that a form of infrastructure? You're investing in human capital, intellectual capital.
You could try to make that case. I would argue it's not that way. The other problem with the socialism argument is that, at least what Bernie Sanders is talking about, is increasing taxes. And when I learned economics, what I learned was that in increasing taxes, the economy will naturally slow down. And I think that economic growth has been the greatest thing that's happened to the middle class and to what I would call the working class. People who are actually seeing their incomes rising the fastest now. If you take your foot off the pedal, and if the economy doesn't grow as fast, then you're going to see the wage gains start to moderate, and you're going to see the unemployment rate start to go up. So I think for Bernie and his crowd, he should be careful what he wishes for.